Yes, we'll get you out. We'll get you out.
I suspect a fracture to the base of the spine. Better. Put your hand on your chest.
Just a few quick words, if you could. What's the difficulty here in getting casualties out of the car?
The problem is the doors are all jammed in because of the
impact of the
thing. The doors have jammed up, so we're having to cut each door out individually to free them. Once we've got the doors open, we've then got the problem of the seats have impacted up onto the casualties, and we've got to cut the seats away as well.
And at the same time, you've got to watch your cutting doesn't affect the casualties already inside.
Exactly, that's it, yeah, exactly. We've got to keep, make sure that the casualties don't sustain any more injuries.
Right, thank you very much.
Mind your head. Right, now we've got a fractured spine. Well, there's a power guard supposed to be used in there. Well, check this out, got a board or a ladder or something. I'll send two of you over there. Where are they going?
Understand it's Dr. Purser. What exactly are you doing here? Is this sort of a gathering place for casualties from the train?
This is where the casualties are brought from the train. They're treated first of all on the train, most of them. They're brought over here. They remain here until they're evacuated to the casualty clearing station, which is farther down the line a bit.
How much work are the ambulance brigade having to do on the casualties here?
They're having to do all of it today. It's exercise for the St John ambulance. So they are in fact doing the actual first aid, being advised by the professional ambulance people.
Were you standing up at the time when you felt the train pull up suddenly?
We sat down in our seats.
And you were thrown forward by the impact, were you?
Yeah.
How long did you think you had to stay there before help came to you?
Oh, a few minutes. Quite a long time. I was talking to my friend and then the train just suddenly stopped and we went into the seat at the front.
You think there were quite a lot of people injured along with you, were there?
Yeah.
How long do you think you were there before help arrived to you?
Not very long, about a few minutes.
It seemed quite a long time to you, did it? Well,
I'm waiting for help. I suspect a fracture to the base of the skull. He's unconscious.
How far do I have to do all of them?
We're waiting for assistance to get him out.
After 4, after 2, the engine driver is unconscious, suspected basic skull. Could we have some help immediately, over? After 4 to after 2, engine driver unconscious, suspected fractured skull. Could I have assistance immediately, over?
Can you stop the fire brigade throwing the stuff here? We've got to get him out. Those chaps here are throwing the stuff over there. What have you found? All right, old chap, mate. We didn't say no to fire, all right? We're doing everything we can for you. All right, old chap.
Here we are with the sort of headquarters, as it were, of the ambulance brigade, and I've got with me here Sir Maurice Dorman, who's the sort of head man in charge of everything here. Your people came out very quickly in this.
Well, I work in London. I'm the Chief Commander of St John Ambulance wherever it operates, and I'm down here to see how the local organisation is doing.
So you're called in very quickly at this
Right.
accident today?
Yeah.
How do you think Wiltshire have coped?
Well, on what I've seen so far, I think that they've coped admirably. But we shall hear more from professionals like the Fire Brigade and the Wiltshire Area Health Authority ambulance.
When you arrive on a scene like this, do you actually take charge, or do you leave it to the people?
No, I leave it to the local people, because they're the people in the end who've got to cope.
Rely to a great extent from the ambulance service, who we work in close cooperation with.
That's the full-time ambulance people in any
We really
town.
work under their direction as far as casualties are concerned, and of course the medical profession as well.
Those are the cooperation with the local fire brigade and the police.
Oh, that of course was quite excellent. Naturally, the police and the fire brigade and the area health authority ambulance get here first, because they are constantly on call, whereas all our people are at work and have to be contacted by telephone and get along here as quick as they can.
Hang on. No, you're not. No, you're not. Bring you as close to the stretcher. Stretcher to the top.
With them, I think Superintendent Cooper of the police, how satisfied were you with this exercise this morning?
Well, I would say from the police point of view, everything went well. I was impressed, first of all, with the positions which the major accident vehicles took up and the marshalling thereafter of the arrival and disposal of ambulances and the rescue vehicles. The use of this closed-circuit radio obviously was a big advantage in the marshalling of the vehicles, and they were able to clear the casualties very, very quickly. From the activities of the rescue personnel involved, I thought they all worked extremely well. I'm not quite sure how railway will pay for all the property, but I won't worry about that end of it. All in all, I was very impressed, and I thought it was a very successful exercise.
What actually is the role of the police in a major accident like this?
Our role is essentially a coordinating role. We would arrive at the scene with our mobile police station and communications vehicle, and we would act as the central coordinating role. We would expect all services on first arrival to report to the control vehicle, but once they were established, we would leave them to operate completely on their own and carry out their own particular task. The senior police officer automatically assumes the responsibility of the incident controller, and to repeat myself, has the complete coordinating role thereafter.
Thank you. Now I've got Mr. Hennessy, who's Fire brigade officer, what was the fire brigade's reaction to this morning's exercise?
Well, we found it very useful. We learned a lot from this, from the releasing casualties from trains, where the carriages, which we find normal stretchers, for instance, have difficulty in getting them through doors. We had to improvise a lot, and the improvisation was very useful to us.
Used ladders, I noticed.
We used ladders, the doors from the toilets, anything that was suitable. Mainly we found that the exercise involved spinal injuries, which meant a rigid board, and also difficulty in getting and extracting them from these positions.
The thing that a lot of people have said to us this morning is the height of the railway vehicle off the ground, and even on the exercise you did this morning, were not so high, say, as an accident occurring on heavily ballasted railway track.
Again, we obviously can't simulate everything, but in the event of an accident, we'd also have to take into account the embankments, difficult of access, upturned, overturned carriages. Obviously we can't do everything, but this has given us a good insight into what
quite a lot of hard work with you people in cutting the car doors open, I see.
The car doors, yes, of course, this is something we're quite used to in actual fact, but again, an exercise of this kind, it's useful. It's been useful to us again.
You think got with Mr. Pole, I believe it is, of the County Ambulance Brigade. How did this exercise go from your people's point of view?
As far as we're concerned, the exercise was 100% success for a number of reasons. I think the one main reason was the way we worked with the other services, particularly St John's, and they worked under our direction, particularly at the loading point and the forward controls and this sort of thing. And also the cooperation of the police and the fire service to show how well the three services and of course St John's work together in a situation like this.
Of course, on your side of it, you've got the professional people of the County Ambulance Brigade and the very enthusiastic and well-trained volunteers.
That's right. Under normal circumstances, we would have had a larger number of our own staff and vehicles here, but on the whole, I think we worked exceptionally well together.
Were you very pleased with the work, say, for instance, of the Railway Ambulance Brigade?
Oh, absolutely, yes, absolutely, 100%.
You were actually the medical officer in charge of dealing with casualties, were you?
Well, I was receiving them in our simulated hospital in the canteen here, and of course there's always a problem when you get a lot of casualties descending on you in a very short space of time. And it's a shame in a way we didn't have the real hospital facilities to try this out, and I hope that perhaps sometime in the near future we may be able to have an exercise involving the hospital so that we can see what happens beyond the reception but going on through the hospital and treating them and getting them into the wards.
What particular problems does a railway accident cause?
Well, this varies very much on the sort of accident, the speed the train's travelling and so on. I mean, the classic one was the one in Lewisham some years ago, but I think that you may get spinal injuries. Most of them tend to be relatively minor fractures or lacerations from broken glass.
How pleased were you with the work of the St John's Ambulance Brigade in getting the casualties to you?
Oh, they were absolutely terrific. They came very well prepared and they arrived in good shape and they knew their stuff.
So the immediate first aid that was done was a great help to you people?
Yes.
In a big accident like this, does a doctor actually go onto the scene of the accident, or do they stay back and wait for the casualties to be brought to them?
Well, there is a major disaster plan, and there would be a team going out from the hospital to the scene of the accident containing a doctor and nurses to work with the police and the fire brigade and the ambulance to sort out the casualties and decide priorities of referral back to the hospital.